So with the bestowing blessings of the God Almighty and the divine blessings of our founder Chancellor Sir, let us start the virtual class for the subject communication systems with the subject code SCC 1303. Well, let me introduce myself. Myself is Dr. R.M. Joni, working as an assistant professor in Department of ECE at Satyabama. So I'm going to handle the subject along with another faculty member, Mr. N. Madan, who is also an assistant professor from the Department of ECE at Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. So the subject we are going to handle is the communication systems. Okay. So as far as this subject is concerned, so it is going to be very interesting because we are going to learn about all the basic communication systems that we use in our day-to-day life. So it is going to be something interesting, that is what are the electronic components we use in our day-to-day life, that is the telephone systems, the television. So now let's have a quick outline of the course, what we are going to learn. So in Unit 1, we will be learning about the telephone communication. Well, we all know that the telephone is the basic communication system that was evolved in the olden days for establishing the communication between one person to another, or it is used for the transfer of sharing of information to the source, from source to destination. That has been the main or the cheapest mode of communication channel that was used in the earlier days. Next, in Unit 2, we will be learning about the television communication. As we all are familiar with the television. So television is a mass media electronic device where you will be we'll be telecasting, or we'll be able to see the audio and video of any information that is being shared. So that is about the television. So we are going to learn in detail about what are the basic components of a television and how it is functioning, how it is getting assembled, and what are the applications of this television. Okay, so right from the olden television to the latest technology, that is what we are using, the HD technology, LED TVs, and other sort of digital TV informations. Then in Unit 3, we'll be learning about the satellite communication. So well, you all know that it is also another advanced and the sophisticated and the expensive means of communication, which is used for establishing the transfer of information from one place to another, that is used for longer distance communication. So we will be learning in detail about what are the basics of satellite communication and how it is being set up. Okay, and then in Unit 4, we will be learning about the radar communications. So in radar, so we all know that some of the basics of radar, which we have already learned in our physics, that is radio detection and ranging, wherein we will be using the radio frequency signals for the communication purposes. So that is also used for the long distance communication, as well as in case of defense applications, wherein we will be sending the radar signals and detecting the nature of the target or nature of the enemies who are there. That is in case of defense applications, as well as it is used for all military purposes, okay, and other applications. And finally, in 5th unit, your wireless communications, so which most of us are very familiar with, that is your wireless mobile communications. So what are the technologies that has evolved right from the basics to the latest technology, 5G technology? So after the completion of this course, the students, that is you will be able to compare the different types of the telephone systems. And the second outcome is, that is, you will be able to illustrate the functional parts of the monochrome, color, and digital television. So monochrome was the oldest television, and later on it has been invented, that is, it has been evolved in as the color television, and finally now we have the digital television. And third one is about the satellite system performance. That is, you will be in a position to examine the satellite system performance under different conditions. So when you know all the basics of this satellite system, you must be in a position to understand the basic concepts of satellite systems. Therefore, that would be helping you to go for placements in case of ISRO and then some satellite application companies, wherein they develop the ICs and the systems which are being used for the satellite subsystems. And the fourth course outcome is you will be able to analyze the performance of various radar communication systems. So when you understand these concepts, you should be in a position to develop any communication system which is used for the defense applications. So DRDO, that is the Defense Department of Defense and Research, it is mainly based on the applications of radar communications, which is used for the military purposes, for the security purposes, which has been the major part for protecting our country from our neighborhood enemies. Okay. And coming to the fifth course outcome, it is you will be in a position to interpret the various wireless communication standards. So that is about the wireless communication protocols, how 1G has evolved, how 2G, 3G, and now we have 5G. So as of now, the 5G is not practically implemented in the market. It is under the study of a survey. So what are the benefits and what are the disadvantages and what are the side effects of the applications of 5G technologies being analyzed. So you should have the basics knowledge of the wireless communication standards. So all these things you will be able to understand. So, and finally, after understanding all these concepts, you will be in a position to propose a new block level communication system design for any given application. So this point is more important. So when you go for any job in case of a product development company, even in the case of a servicing company, you will be able to develop the product. So you should have the basic idea of how it can be implemented. So you should have a basic knowledge about all these communication systems and devices. So we are going to learn in detail everything about this. See, okay, that is about the course outcome. Okay, so now let's get started with unit number 1, that is the telephone communication. First, we'll have a quick outline of what we are going to learn in unit number 1. So first, we'll be learning about the basics of telephone. So as an example, we'll be learning in detail about the in-circuit components of the standard telephone and the local lobe. That is followed by the electronics telephone, and that is followed by the cordless telephone. So all these components most of us are familiar with, we had used. Okay, so now let us learn in detail about how these instruments are being assembled and how it is being used for establishing the communication between two persons. Then we will be learning about the telephone facsimile, the fax machine. So the basics of fax machine operation. And that is followed by the paging system. So paging system, most of us are familiar with, that is, it's the means of half duplex communication. So you all know that what do you mean by simplex communication, what do you mean by duplex communication, what do you mean by half duplex communication. So let me have a quick refresh of what do you mean by simplex communication. Can anyone tell what do you mean by, one of you? See, please don't scribble. What do you mean by simplex communication? Can anyone tell? Okay.
One-way communication.
Yes, simplex is one-way communication. That is, only one person will be able to communicate and the other person will be just listening. Okay. And half duplex, it is again a two-way communication, but not simultaneously. Okay. So both the sender will be, one person will be sending information, the other person second person has to listen. And the next moment, the second person can transmit and the first person will be listening. So that is half duplex communication. So coming to the next communication, that is full duplex communication, wherein both the transmitter and the receiver will be able to communicate each other simultaneously at the same time. So that is about the different types of the communication modes. And coming to the cellular telephone system, that is, we'll be learning in detail about the basics of cellular communication and how the digital cellular telephone system is being evolved. And finally, ISDN, that is Integrated Services Digital Network. Okay, so now let's get started with the telephone communication. So you might have looked at these kind of telephones. I think the first one, most of you would not have seen. So when we were in our childhood days, we used to have this kind of telephone, that is the rotary dialing telephone system. So can anyone tell who has invented the telephone? One of you, please.
Alexander
Yes, very good.
Graham
Alexander Graham Bell has invented the telephone, first telephone. So this is a picture of the rotary telephone which was used in the olden days. So there will be some kind of electromechanical switches running on, that is being set up in this circuit, and that will be that will be used for establishing communication. And this is the another some advancements had been implemented on this rotary telephone, and the dialing system has been replaced with the help of the push buttons, and also some PCB circuits, that is printed circuit boards. All the circuits which are analog in nature in this olden telephones has been upgraded to the PCB kind of, that is simple PCB will be the printed circuit board on which all the circuits will be incorporated or integrated, and that is being set up here. So we are going to learn in detail. And this third one is the advanced telephone with the digital technology. So we'll be having, can any one of you tell what is the difference between this telephone, the second one, and the third one? Both are having push buttons, okay?
With handle, without handle.
Digital, ma'am.
Digital in the sense, the main important key factor that differentiates this telephone is the microprocessor. So this electronic telephone, this is the advanced electronic telephone that has the inbuilt microprocessor. So it has advanced features for storing the call history, and you can have contact details. Everything that can be done with the help of this telephone. So that is the advanced that has been done here for this digital electronic telephone. So the next one is that is a cordless telephone. So the cordless telephone, most of us are familiar with. It's a portable one. So some advancement has been done here. So it is in a portable format. So we can move this handset from one place to another, and it has a certain frequency range. Within that distance, you will be able to communicate with the person. Okay, so that is about the different types of the basics of telephone communication system. Now let's get started with the standard telephone and the local loop. So this telecommunication means that is communication at a distance. So it has been evolved from the Greek word tele, which means far, and the phone means the voice, the distance voice. Okay. At a distance, the electrical communications that has been established by means of a wired communication, or it can be by means of a radio communication, and optical fiber communication. And this telephone is a telecommunication device that permits two or more users to conduct a voice conversation when they are too far apart to be heard directly. So this telephone converts the sound, typically the most efficiently the human voice, into an electronic signal that are transmitted via cables and through the communication channels to another telephone, which reproduces the sound to the receiving user. So what does it do? It converts the audio sound, the voice of a human, into an electronic signal. So by means of wired cables, these electronic signals will be transmitted, and at the receiver side, this electronic signal will be reproduced as a voice. So what do we need in this case? So we need, what is that? We need some kind of transducers. So the transducers are used for converting the sound signals into the electronic signals. So the sound signals in the sense that is audio sounds. So what do we need for converting the audio voice of a human to an electronic signal? Can you tell me what is the device we need for that? The device which converts the voice of a human into an electronic signal, that is the microphone. Okay, so which most of us, so I have a microphone in my, a headset. So this microphone converts the audio signal into an electronic signal. And at the receiver side, this electronic signal is again converted to a voice signal by means of the, by means of the speaker. So we will be able to hear the sound. Okay. This telephone system was designed for full duplex communication. We all know that full duplex means the simultaneous communication between the source and the destination at the same time. Okay, so today this system is primarily used for establishing voice communication, but most of this are being used for the digital techniques, and not only for signal transmission but also for some kind of control applications. Okay, the telephone system permits any telephone to connect with any other telephone in the world. So any part of the world. So by means of wired communication. So each telephone system will be having a unique identification code. So we all know that will be provided a 10-digit telephone number that is unique for that particular telephone. So it is like naming that particular instrument, telephone instrument, and we need to connect that telephone instrument to the telephone line. Okay, so this telephone line or the telephone circuit, just a line or the circuit within the industry, is a single user circuit on a telephone communication system. So there is a physical wire running there is or the signaling medium connecting the user's telephone to the telecommunication network. So the telecommunication network, in the sense, it is the, what is that? The exchange. Where? So we have to physically connect our telephone instrument to the telephone exchange. And usually it implies a single telephone number, and that is for used for billing purposes and other so on. So that is not we are going to concentrate. And these telephone lines are used for to deliver a landline telephone services and the digital subscriber line phone cable service to the premises or the users, end users, whoever is using. So that is called to be DSL. Okay, and coming to the local loop. So this is an important terminology that is used in the telephone communication system. So these standard telephones are connected to the telephone system by way of two wired, that is the twisted pair of cable that terminates to the local exchange on the central office. So we connect our telephone instrument physically by means of this twisted pair of cable to the telephone exchange where we have registered. So as many as 10,000 telephone lines can be connected in a single central office. So this was a simple survey, but nowadays most of the, only very few are using these telephone lines. We have gone to the advanced technology, but even then we should know some of the basics. What are the basic connections, how these telephones are being connected. So this two-wired twisted pair of connection between the telephone instrument and the central office is always referred to as the local loop or the subscriber loop. So this circuit in the telephone and the central office form a complete electric circuit or in a loop. So it is closed. Okay. So this two pair of cables can be a coaxial cable. Okay. So this coaxial cable most of us are familiar with. Okay. And this pair of cables will be always in a twisted pair fashion. You know, twisted pair fashion. So whenever the two wires are lining, so even in our electrical line wiring also we have phase and that is the main phase and the neutral. So everything, the wire connections, the electrical and everything will be in a twisted pair. So can you tell me the reason why these cables are always running in a twisted pair? This is some kind of basic information. Does anyone know? Twisted pair of connection. So this pair of cables, one will be taking the main voltage and the other one will be the ground. So whenever they are running parallelly, what happens? There will be some sort of electromagnetic interferences occurring because it carries some kind of voltage information. Okay. So whenever this electromagnetic interferences occurs, that might be a disturbance for the circuits that are present in the instrument as well as at the local exchange office. So in order to avoid the electromagnetic interferences, this twisted pair of cables are used. That is, the cables in a two-wired line will be connected in the form of twisted pair fashion. So you should not forget this basic terminology as an electronic engineer. That is, whenever almost all the applications where the electronic circuits are being used, always the wires will be running in a twisted pair fashion, which means that it is being done in that way in order to avoid the electromagnetic interferences whenever the voltage is being carried by that cable. Okay, this is some of the basic information. Okay, and this local loop in a telephone network, sometimes referred to as last mile of the network, is the bit that connects the home telephone to the local telephone exchange. So literally, these coaxial cables are nothing but these are the simple cables made up of copper wires. So these are the copper cables that run from the home to the telephone exchange. So why we make use of copper wires? Because wires are the best conductors of electricity. So whenever this voice signal that is being spoken with the help of this microphone will be converted to an electronic signal, and that will be traveling by means of this twisted pair of cable to the telephone exchange. So this twisted pair of cable that runs between the telephone instrument and the local exchange is known as the local loop or the subscriber loop. Okay, so it's a very important terminology, you should not forget. Okay. And this diagram shows the basic telephone set, which is based on an analog baseband transceiver. So, well, we all know that transceiver is nothing but it will be able to transmit at the same time, it will be able to receive the signals. Okay, so this is nothing but the telephone instrument which wants to get connected to the another telephone instrument B. So, this is the local exchange where this particular instrument with the unique identification number has been registered. Okay, so it is connected, this telephone instrument is connected to the local exchange by means of this local loop. Okay, this local loop is nothing but the twisted pair of coaxial cable. Okay, this is how it is physically connected. And between the this local, even you can have any other instrument connected to the same exchange. If not, if this instrument is connected to this exchange and this instrument is connected to this exchange, in that case, this two exchanges will also have local connections. Okay, so whenever we wanted to establish connection between A and B, first we have to initiate a call from here, and that will be identified by the local exchange, and they will be directing the call to the exchange where the destination user has registered, and then the connection is being established here. Once the connection is established, there will be closed circuit line between the subscriber A and the subscriber B, and then we will be able to communicate your physically. Okay, so this is how the communication has evolved in the olden days by means of these telephone instruments. Now this operates in two modes, that is the receive mode and the transmit mode. Now let us understand what is receive mode. So receive mode in the sense, some call is being received to our telephone instrument, that is an incoming signal that rings a bell. So it gives an indication, that is we'll be able to hear some call being received. So ring like that, some kind of audio tone that will be indicated. So it indicates that the call is being received. So the signal to the telephone system indicates that the call has been answered. So once the call is received, what we do? We lift up the handset, we answer the call, and then we keep the handset. So that call has been closed. Okay, so that is being answered. So this already I told you, we are making use of the transducers to convert the voice to electrical signals, and again electrical signals to voice. This information we already know that. So this is in case of the receive mode. Coming to the transmit mode, what is that? We have to initiate a call. So whenever a call is to be made, what we do? We lift up the handset. Understand? So when we lift up the handset, what do we hear? We hear the dial tone, which means that the line is being, there is no disruption in the line between the telephone instrument and the local exchange. So you can initiate a call. So that is called as a dial tone. Then what do? We dial the number of the person whom we are going to call. So when we dial the number, what happens? Automatically with the help of any push button or any rotary dialing switch, we'll be calling. Then after that, we will be hearing the ringing tone. So some kind of a signal that is being generated, that we will see how all these signals are generated. So that will be initiated. That ringing tone will be able to hear. And in case the person whom you have called is busy, means that some kind of special tone will be able to hear. That is called line is busy. So all these are internally generated. So you will be having some kind of amplifier or oscillator circuits inside the telephone instrument, which will be coordinating with the signal that is being received from the telephone exchange, and you will be able to hear the particular sound. Okay. And after providing, after the call is being initiated, we will be talking and then we will be completing the call. So these are the processes that happens in case of a transmit mode. Okay, so we have receive mode and the transmit mode. So we have understood how the call is being answered and how the call is being initiated. Okay, now let us see in detail. So this is the basic telephone set. So this is something nothing but the inside the telephone instrument, you will be having all these things. So here let us assume here is the telephone exchange, and that is connected to the, this is the internal circuitry, detailed internal circuitry of a telephone instrument. Okay, so this is nothing but the, what is this? Twisted pair of cable, the local loop, which is running from the telephone exchange to the instrument. So that will be connected to a ringer bell or the tones. So whenever a call is being initiated, these circuits will be initiated, activated, and then we will be able to hear the ringing sound. So this ringer will be having a physical oscillator, which will be producing the ringing sound. Okay, and also it is connected to the hook switch. Hook switch is nothing but the headset. We'll be placing the headset on some kind of a push-pull button. is it not? So that is nothing but hook switch. Okay, so whenever a call is being initiated, we will be able to hear the ringing sound and we have to lift up the handset. So this hook switch will be in a closed condition, establishing connection. Okay, we will see in detail one by one. And this is nothing but the dialing circuit. Dialing circuit is nothing but the keypad. Okay, so in olden telephones we had rotary switches, and in the advanced telephone instruments we'll be having the dialing keypads, push buttons. Okay, with the numbers in standard keypad numbers will be there, wherein you have to initiate a call. Then we'll be having a hybrid. Hybrid is an important circuit that is connecting the telephone board circuit to the handset. So this handset you will be having two pieces, that is the earpiece and the mouthpiece. So is it not? So mouthpiece will be your transmitter that is made up of the microphone, and the earpiece is the speaker that is nothing but the receiver. It will be having a speaker, and this transmitter for microphone again it will be a two-wired line, and this receiver speaker will be again a two-wired line. But actually the telephone instrument, the local loop, it is again a two-wired line. So when this two-wired line of this transmitter and the microphone, the receiver being connected to the telephone instrument, it becomes a four-wired line. You understand the concept? So this handset, for a transmitter, we need two wires for establishing the connection, for carrying the electrical signal. Okay, and same way, the speaker side and the receiver side, it will be again having two-wired line. So this four-wired line is connected to the telephone instrument, but actually all the circuits in the telephone instruments are two-wired line. So we need some sort of a converting circuit for that is a four-wired line. Four-wire line to a two-wire line, is it not? So that is done with the help of this hybrid circuit. Okay, that hybrid, okay, that will be converting the four-wire line to a two-wire line. So that is the purpose. It is simple transformer circuit that will be converting the four-wire line from the handset to a two-wire line. So ringer is nothing but a simple electronic oscillator connected to a speaker. So that is also connected to a speaker. A small speaker will be there whenever a call is being received. So that will be ringing. We'll be able to hear in a speaker. And the switch hook is nothing but a double pole mechanical switch, which is controlled by a mechanism activated by the telephone set. So this is the detailed circuit of a simple telephone instrument or telephone set. Okay. Now let us see in detail. So this dialing circuits provide a way of entering a telephone number to be called. So that is called, it follows a standard system called dual to multi-frequency. The normal keypad, you know, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some additional extended keypad version is also that. It's a hash and other information are also that. So this handset contains the microphone for the transmitter and the speaker or the receiver. So this, whenever a call is being initiated, the combination of 350 Hertz and 400 Hertz sine waves are sent to the telephone from the central office, indicating that the network is ready to receive calling instructions. That is why we'll be able to hear the dial tone whenever we're lifting up the handset. Okay, so this is again the sine waves that is being initiated from the central office. And this again I told, this hybrid is a special transformer that is used to convert the wires from the transmitter and receiver signal suitable for a single two-line pair to the local loop. And let us see what is a ringer. So ringer is an electric bell on an oscillator connected to a speaker. It is continuously connected to the twisted pair or the local loop back to the central office. So whenever incoming call is received, a signal from the central office causes the bell to ring and you will be able to produce a ringing tone. And switch hook, in the sense the double pole mechanical switch on which the handset is being placed. So when the handset is on the hook switch is open condition. So whenever we place the handset on the telephone, it will be in the open condition. So it will be physically connected to the telephone exchange office, but electrically and technically it will not be connected. It will be in the open circuit condition. So whenever call is to be made or being received, we lift the handset. Once we lift the handset, what happens? The switch hook will be in a closed loop condition, which means that short circuit will be established, and then what happens? It will be physically connected and electrically connected to the telephone exchange. Therefore, when this entire circuit is being closed, the call will be initiated and you can make a call or you can receive a call and go ahead. Okay, that is about switch hook. Coming to the dialing circuit, let us go and see. So this is the DTMF. So this is the standard keypad that is universally followed. So internally, these keypads will be having a, what is that, a certain group of frequency of signals that is being generated with the help of the oscillator behind that. Different circuitry will be there. So how it is arranged means, that is, we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and etc. like that. And this is some kind of extended keypad which we'll be having in our advanced telephone instruments, okay, electronics telephone instruments. So this are being divided as, there is a column wise, it is being divided as high group frequencies, which will be having the frequency of 1209 hertz and up to 1633 hertz. And these are the low group frequencies. It will be of range 940 or 697 to 941. And each and whenever you're pressing that particular button, the combination of these two, this is high group frequency and low group frequency, the combination of these two will be producing that particular frequency of signals. So that frequency of signals will be transmitted via the coaxial cable or the local loop to the telephone exchange. Thereby it identifies which number has been pressed. So that is the concept here. The same is the concept with the advanced technologies. We use it in our cellular telephone also. Okay, so whenever you press a particular button, the corresponding the combination of this low group and high group frequencies. So you can make a try. That is, even some of you are having what is that? Is a kind of a push button telephone, landline telephone. You can make a try. So lift the handset, press that button. So this vertically, if you press 1, 4, 7 and stop, it will be having the same tone. That is the vertical. That is 1209. Okay. You press 2, 5, 8, 0. You will be able to hear the same signal. Okay. Again 3, 6, 9 and hash. You press. You will be able to hear the same. What is the same frequency of signals. You just lift the handset and you make a try. And the same way, the row wise, if you press, there is 1, 2, 3 will be having the same kind of signal. Okay, so when you press both, that is different frequencies of sound you will be able to hear. So why this difference is being done? In order to identify the number that is being dialed. Okay, so this is about dual tone multi-frequency. This is also an important concept. You should have it in your mind throughout your lifetime. Okay, now coming to the handset. So we all know that handset will be having a microphone that is used for transmitter and the speaker for receiver. So it again generates an electrical signal, that is these are acting as transducers, converting as current to electrical signal and the vice versa. And this transmitter and receiver are independent units and each has 2 wired connections, and these are connected to the telephone instrument by means of this hybrid. This we already know. That is about handset. Okay, so this hybrid. So what are the internal features of a hybrid? This hybrid circuit is a special transformer used to convert the signals from the 4-wire line of the transmitter and the receiver signal to a suitable single 2-wire line. So it permits full duplex communication. That is, simultaneously you will be able to send and receive the analog signal on the 2-wire line. That is why whenever we are able to hear as well as talk. Is it not? So whenever we talk over the telephone, we will be able to hear the person who is talking, as well as we will be able to talk also. That is, it provides a full duplex communication. Sometimes if it is in a looped condition, you will be able to hear your own voice. In case of some telephones, you should also come across these kind of situations. Is it not? Whenever you have this intercom connection and other things, you will be able to hear your own voice. Okay, so it provides full duplex communication. This hybrid also provides a side tone from the transmitter to the receiver so that the speaker can hear his or her own voice in the receiver. So that is called the side tone. Okay, so this feedback permits the automatic voice level adjustment. So there will be some button, is it not? That is for voice level adjustment. So whenever you wanted to adjust the voice, you have to talk. So that is called the side tone. So this side tone helps in the, what is that, for adjusting the voice. Okay, please do not annotate, ma. Tomorrow let me tell you whoever has annotated, let me tell the names of the students, whoever has annotated. Okay, coming to the conventional telephone. So the central office applies a DC voltage over the twisted pair of line to the telephone. So this DC voltage is applied here, it is of minus 48 volt with respect to the ground in the open circuit condition. So it is a negative voltage, okay, in the open circuit condition. So whenever the subscriber picks up the phone, the switch hook loop closes and the connecting the circuitry to the telephone line. So the load present in the telephone circuitry causes the current to flow in the local loop and the voltage inside the telephone, and that drops to 5 to 6 volts. Okay, so minus 48 volts is being given, DC voltage is being given from the local exchange. So well, you all know that we don't need external power supply for this landline telephone. Have you ever thought? So in case of an electronic telephone, we need a power supply. But in case of a simple landline telephone, we don't need a power supply for that, because this 48 volts will be coming from the local exchange office by means of this local loop. Local loop is nothing but this twisted pair of coaxial cable. That is why we don't need additional DC power supply. Okay, so everything will be, the voltage supply will be from the telephone exchange office. But in case of electronic telephone, we need additional power supply. Okay, there will be a power adapter for that. But in case of a standard old telephone, we don't need an additional power supply. So this minus 48 volts, when it receives the circuit, the load present in the telephone circuitry causes the current to flow in the local loop, and the voltage inside the telephone instrument will be dropping to 5 to 6 volts. So that 5 to 6 volts makes all the other circuitry present in the telephone instrument to activate. Okay, so the amount of current flowing in the local loop depends upon the number of factors. So this is a detailed circuit diagram of a standard telephone circuit which is connected to the central office. So this is the central office wherein we are connecting the telephone instrument by means of a twisted pair of cable, and there will be tip and the ring connection that will be indicated by the red or black wire, or it can be a green or yellow wire. So if you happen to have any telephone instrument, or there is olden telephone instrument at your home, please just have a look at that, what kind of wires are being there. So it will be inside a case cable, but you can have a look at that. Okay, and this is the transmitter, there is the handset, and this is the speaker receiver that is being internally connected with the help of these capacitors, and there is the transformers. So these are going to act as a transformer that helps in the circuitry. So the central office applies the DC voltage to the twisted pair of line. So the amount of current flowing in the local loop depends upon the number of factors. So the DC voltage supplied to the central office may be of minus 40 volt. So that is coming from the central office. So whenever this minus 48 with respect to ground, it is negative voltage. Okay, so it is connected in such a way that it provides a negative voltage with respect to ground. So whenever this minus 48 voltage reaches this telephone instrument, it drops down the voltage. That is how it drops down, means the central office inserts some kind of load resistance RL to limit the total current flow in a short circuit on the line. So the resistance can range from, that is producing a voltage of 350 to 800. Okay, ohms. So the total resistance is approximately 48 ohms. So the resistance in the telephone itself varies with the relatively wide range of values, and therefore depending upon the circuitry, the resistance varies the transmitter and the receiving element. So the local loop resistance depends considerably on the length of the twisted pair of cable being used for connecting the instrument to the telephone exchange. Although the resistance of copper wire is a twisted pair, it is relatively low. The length wire between the telephone and the central office may be miles long. Okay, we may be at a very far distance from the office. Therefore, the resistance of the local loop anywhere from 1000 to 1800 ohms. So, depending upon the distance. Therefore, the local loop length varies from few thousand feet up to 18,000 feet. So, that is the distance between the telephone instrument and the central office. There is a sufficient voice frequencies that is being provided with the full intelligibility. Therefore, this unloaded twisted pair of cable have the upper cutoff frequency of 4000 hertz. So, whenever the long runs of cables are being used, the special loading coils are inserted in between. Okay, all these lines, and that is being connected here. And what happens at one time, large group of telephone operators at the central office, that will be physically establishing connecting from the one person who has been initiated the call to the other person. In this way, the connections are being established from the telephone exchange to the instrument. Whenever the telephone lines are being installed, you should make use of this the clear color coding for the wires that is being used for that will be done by the operators who are establishing the connection. So other color combinations are also used for the telephone wiring. Therefore, there is no separate supply voltage required for making the instruments, that is the circuits to activate in the telephone instrument. Okay, so this is the telephone ringing sequence. So most of us are familiar with. So it will be providing a 1 second duration of this RMS voltage. That is 1 second for a duration of 1 second, and a long register number 84. Hema Malini, please mute yourself. Okay. So you will be able to produce a, what is that? 1 second of the dialing sequence with this BRMS, and then there will be a pause for 3 seconds. That is why this is the standard that is being followed here in United States, and this is the standard that is being followed in the United Kingdom. So normally we follow the United Kingdom method of generating the sequence of signals. That is why whenever we are dialing or what is that, we will be producing a sound tring tring. Is it not? Tring tring, a long gap will be there, again tring tring will be there. But whereas when you make an IST call to the US number, landline number, you will be having a long pause, tring, then again pause will be there, again tring. So that is the kind of signal that is being produced here. Okay, so this is the ringing sequence that is generated whenever a call is being initiated. Okay, and let us have a look at the standard telephone internal circuitry. Well, we all know that this is the handset. So you will be having a speaker here, and this is the microphone. So here a 2-wire line from the speaker and 2-wire line from the microphone will be connected. But this is the hook switch will be there. So wherein we will be placing the handset. So in between these two, you will be having the hybrid, the transformer that will be converting the 4-wire line to a 2-wire line. And from here, the instrument, we'll see in detail, okay, that is connected to the wall jack, okay. So this is how it will be connected. So this is the microphone, speaker, and this is the touch tone keypad frequency generated. So it is going to follow the DTM of, that is dual tone multi-frequency method for generating this frequency of signals, for identifying the number, and this is the duplex coil, and this is the hook switch wherein you will be placing the handset. So this ringer, can you identify what is this ringer is for? Can anyone of you tell? So this ringer is nothing but the oscillator circuit. So whenever a call is being received, this ringer circuit will ring. There will be an internal oscillator that will be giving an indication that call is being initiated. So this is at the transmitter side, and this is at the receiver side, the opposite, in the reverse version of that. Okay. And this is the, you can look at the image of a basic telephone, the standard telephone which was used in olden days. Even some people are using, some of the companies, and we use it for intercoms, okay, and some shops we might have come across this kind of telephones. So this is the handset, and this is the keypad, okay, and this is the back side of the telephone instrument. So here in the line, so here we have to connect the, what is that, to the local loop. Okay, so by means of the local loop, we are getting connected to the, by means of this jack, we will be connecting to the telephone exchange. And this is the portion that will be connecting the, what is that, handset inside that. Okay, and this one, you know, this pulse method and tone method. So by this kind of this ringing sequence, either whenever you're pressing the DTM frequency, either you can want the signals to be generated by means of individual pulses. So slowly, if you press 1 means that many number of pulses will be generated. If you press 5 pulses will be generated. Whereas in tone, it will be very fast. You will have a quick shot of pulse that will be running. And this H and L is for adjusting the volume adjustment. So that could be done with the help of the side tone we have come across. So you lift the handset, and when you're able to speak, the side tone will be here, so that you will be able to hear your own voice, and then you can adjust the volume. So volume adjustment for hearing the voice. And this is the internal circuitry. of the telephone instrument. You see here the back side. Okay, so this is inside, above which the front side you will be having that keypad. So this keypad, all the other circuits are here, this all oscillator circuit, everything will be connected here. And this is the speaker, that is the ringer wherein you will be connected. So here is where the jack, okay, where you are connecting the this telephone instrument to the local loop exchange. Okay, that is connected here. From here, the wires are running to all the other internal circuitry, and this is the ringer circuit. So there will be speaker kind of provision here. So whenever a call is being received, this will be connected to making the ringer to activate, so that you will be able to hear the ringing sound. And this is the one that is connected to the handset. Okay, we will be connecting it here. So this is the keypad information. So it is the reverse version. Okay, inside, back side of that, we'll be having 1, 2. So the PCB will be developed in such a way that you will be connecting all the components here. Okay, all the components internally connected. And this is the membrane, a simple example of a membrane keypad on the top side. Okay, wherein you will be having the push buttons, simple mechanical push buttons. Okay, whenever you press, there will be some kind of pulses generator that will be activating the signal, and that will be producing. Okay, and this is the hook switch inline telephone connection. Inside the hook switch, whenever you're placing the handset, there will be a hook switch connection, and this is the hook switch configuration. There will be a mobile platform. Whenever we are placing the handset, there will be a spring operating that will be making the switch to the open loop condition. And whenever you're lifting the handset, it will be in a closed loop connection, making this PCB getting connected to the telephone exchange by means of that local loop. Okay, that is a twisted pair of cable. Okay, that is the concept here. And this is the handset. This is the curled wire cord which will be connecting the handset to the telephone instrument. And here you see the speaker and the microphone. This is the speaker part, and this is the microphone part. So this two-wired line will be connected. Two-wired line for the speaker as well as two-wired line for this microphone will be converted to a four-wire line will be converted to a two-wired line pattern by means of this hybrid circuitry. Okay, so this is the internal circuitry. Lot of information are available in the net also. Okay, you can have a look at that. Okay, so that is, we have come to the end of session. Do you have any doubt? So this is one of the subjects in your third year. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
communication systems. It's going to be very interesting.
Yes,
It's full of theory. Okay, so it is very something. What is it? Physically, you can see that electronic components, whatever we are using in our day-to-day life, that is what we are going to learn in detail. Okay, and as far as this LMS, Learning Management System, is concerned, we have created the course with the subject name Communication Systems, SEC 1303. You can kindly go into that and you can log in, and soon it will be activated. Please, you get familiarized with that kind of environment. Okay.
You said that that dial pads will have a frequency tones, no, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
If that when that membrane clicks that PCB circuit, an electric pulse will be generated,
Yes,
no, ma'am.
yes.
Then what is the use of frequency tones?
In
Already electric.
No. The electrical pulses will be created, ma. We have to generate different frequency for different numbers, because the circuit will not know which number is being dialed. Is it not? Okay.
And the circuit can recognize, no, ma'am, where can from where the electric pulse is generating.
How it will generate? Physically, it cannot go and find which button is pressed. Okay, all the electronic circuits will understand by analyzing the signal it is receiving. Okay, how it will analyze based on some parameters. So this DTMF keypad has been created by identifying and differentiating the numbers that is being pressed based on the frequency of signals. So this particular frequency of signal will have this tone. This particular frequency of signal will have this particular tone. Okay, based on that it will identify. So this, we are programming the boards in such a way that you have to differentiate the number being pressed by analyzing the frequency of signals that is generated. That is why different frequency has been allocated. So if you want to know more in detail, let me show a video clip in the next class.